So you really do know what you want and you have set goals for it, but you still are stuck on staying motivated. And on most of your days, these tasks seem like they're not getting you anywhere. I mean, you've been doing them for a while now, and still no results. And you might be thinking on giving up, but I'm here to encourage you not to do so. To think about it, these might be the most fundamental methods on staying motivated and reaching those goals 100% in the long run. So today I'm going to be showing you the most effective 2 methods on how you can stay motivated and actually reach those goals. And if you use them correctly, then you can have some fun along the way. So the first thing I would like you to do, or to phrase it differently, adjust your mindset, is to reframe your understanding of control. So to illustrate this a little bit better, I have to talk to you about a doctor called Claudia M. Miller. See, back in the late 90s, this doctor performed a large study on a group of children to prove this exact point. So these children were presented with all kinds of different puzzles to solve, and the intensity of these puzzles were ranging from really easy to extremely difficult. Regardless on how the children performed though, they were told that they performed extremely well. Also, in addition to that, they were told that they did much better than the other kids. So Claudia did something really interesting, and she divided the group into 2. She told one group that they succeeded on the puzzles because they worked really hard on it. And the other group was told that they were so good because they were so naturally gifted. After this, they presented each group with another set of challenges, ranging from easy to medium and all the way up to the difficult ones. So you might be thinking like, puzzles, motivation, where is this going, bro? Well, the children who were told that they were so naturally gifted spent most of their time working on the easy puzzles, and they neglected the harder and more difficult ones. In addition to that, they spent way less time even trying to solve the puzzles, and that was a definite sign of lower motivation. So on the other side, the children who were told that they succeeded at the puzzles because they worked really hard on it spent most of their time solving the more difficult ones. And overall, they spent more time even trying to solve the puzzles, and that was a definite sign of higher motivation. So why am I even talking about this study to you right now? Well, the point of this story was to illustrate the amount of control you believe you have over your life. And it has everything to do with motivation. So before we move on, I just want to remind you that the topic's name was reframing your understanding of control. There are 2 points of control in your life that affect motivation really hard. And the first one is external, and the second one, you guessed it, is internal. People who are stuck on the external control mindset usually believe that factors outside of their life is affecting whether they achieve something or not. People like these have ideas like you don't control if you're born smart or not. On the other side of this, there are people who are way more open to opportunities. People who have internal control mindset believe that their outcome is a direct result of their hard work and effort that allows them to do well overall. So the key to staying motivated is to have internal control. With every issue you face in life, or with every goal you want to achieve, try to always view it from the perspective on how you can solve it, and try to find as many little possibilities that you can. I can actually give you like an example from my past. I used to work at this company that designed and built saunas, and my job was to meet with the client, talk to them, and come up with the best solution. So most of the time I would meet the client, and in my mind I would offer them like this most genius advice, and afterwards my offer was turned down. So when I got asked about all these situations by my boss, I usually came up with like 1,000 excuses. It was the wrong time of month, it was bad weather, they don't have any taste in design, and so on. The amount of excuses I would make about the situation was just insane. So looking back on this, I was never bound to achieve or thrive in this work situation in the first place because of my faulty mindset. Couldn't stay motivated on fixing the problem and coming up with solutions. Instead, I was trying to find excuses all of the time and just avoided dealing with all these problems overall. The problem with this external mindset, which I obviously had, is that you always get the feeling that you have no control whatsoever. Like, what's the point in even trying something when the whole world is just conspiring against you, right? So now you might be wondering, like, how do I adapt this internal mindset and have full control and stay motivated? The best way to do this is to solve your own problems and appreciate that you did so. And the second part of this is really important. Every time you achieve a solution, really hammer down on the fact that it was your own actions that solved the problem. Not some magical form of good luck or fortunes decisions that are outside of your control. So let's say, for example, you have a problem with time management. First, you do some research and then you find out that there are some really simple things that you can improve on immediately. Buying like a physical calendar or getting something on your computer like monday.com, where you can actually write everything down and start to organize your time. So it has only been taking like a few weeks and you notice some huge improvements. You know how much time something will roughly take and how to do it. And it's all because of you took the time to write it down and you took control of your time. So when you notice these improvements, don't just take it for granted. Recognize them and tell yourself that your actions were the solution to your problem. It was because of the changes I made, because of the effort I put in, that I managed my time better. By doing this, you eventually won't get demotivated again, and I can confirm it to you. It's just amazing. Because what demotivation actually is the lack of self-control to tackle the issue on your plate right now. By the way, there's a bonus solution to this motivational problem, and by adding this to the internal control factor, it will blow your mind. So make the effort from whatever you want into a reward. And let me explain. The second reason why you are losing motivation is because you associate the end goal with the reward. Yeah, that's kind of right, isn't it? It's not a bad thing to have a reward at the end after all of that hard work. But let me tell you, mentally seeing each and every goal this way destroys the good feeling that we associate with the process overall. This is actually a concept by Carol Dweck, a psychologist that hammers down on this subject really hard. The basic principle of this is to be more focused on the effort part and still keep the goal in the back of your mind. So you may ask like a really logical question, that how can you actually be focused on the effort part if the effort is pain, grinding and hard work? That's a good question, and let me explain. This requires doing a little bit of rewiring in your brain. This might seem like an oxymoron, but you have to keep repeating to yourself that the effort is great and rewarding, even though it might not be. Because let's be honest here, physical pain from exercising or forcing yourself to study is not pleasurable. Think of it this way. If you continuously think of exercising being pain, studying being as an activity of forcing yourself, and only focusing on the end goal, your brain starts not giving you any dopamine or this happy hormone in the middle of this process. And this really demotivates us and forces us to quit on the goals that have like a longer time period. By not repeating to yourself in the midst of these processes that it's pleasurable and great, it actually makes the effort even more painful and you make yourself less efficient at it. Because if you were to be able to access this happy hormone in the midst of these processes, by the way, dopamine has these incredible properties of increasing energy levels, both mentally and physically, but also making the work harder for yourself means it will be more difficult the next time. You need twice as much coffee, louder music, 5 times more the energy drinks, and so on. So here's the solution to this. Try not adding other sources of dopamine to your exercising, studying, or whatever work you are trying to achieve. Like no extra amounts of other sources of dopamine. Start injecting yourself with these positive affirmations on the hard work that you're doing. Keep telling yourself that the effort part of your work is the good part. And trust me on this, it will change your life. And the really nice thing about this is it starts to expand to all other efforts in your life. Meaning that you are more motivated to do everything that matters to you in your life. Also remember, it's really important to ease yourself into habits the right way. I talked all about that in this video on how to put in just 1% effort a day to achieve 36 times more in a year. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you over there, and peace.